Shut up and take my money. That's right. So on here, occasionally we like talking about the lines, maybe put down a jelly bean or two on the games. And, what's great about this time of year is that sites have put out the early lines, the way too early lines, and we can just analyze all of them, right? So this is from the Action Network. They put out the lines for all 256 NFL games, which is amazing. Like, it's weird enough putting out lines for week 1 because there's a lot of things that could go down. A, well, the games might not even be played. B, injuries in training camp or OTAs, dynamics shift. There could be a lot of things going on there, as well as, going through all 16 games. It's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting, right? So again, these are from the Action Network. Projects the final scores, as well as, again, this format. So the line is for the home team. If it's a negative number, they're favored. If it's a positive, they're an underdog. So it's easy peasy lemon squeezes. So just first week, for example, Vikings are projected to have a final score of 23.5 to 20.7, which would be nice. So the Vikings are favored by 2.8 points there, right? So that's the format they're going with. Also, the rule of thumb generally has been being at home will get you 3 points just because of home crowd, just because of travel issues, etc. But it may not be so, especially with half-empty stadiums. That could cut down to 1.5, 1 point even. But, we'll just go with 3 for right now because we don't really know what's going to happen this season. Also, with all those numbers, so added it up, beep, bop, up, a boop. Vikings are projected to score 376.5 points, which, if you get that half point, it's probably through Dan Bailey, right? Which would be down from 2019 when they were the 8th highest scoring team in the league with 407 points. So that would not be great. That would not be ideal, especially with that defense in flux. Actually, that defense is going to be better than whatever the hell they put out last year, so it could be fine. But into the games we go. Week 1, Packers at historic U.S. Bank Stadium. So again, like we said, the Vikings are projected to win here by 2.8 points, 2.8 favorites. But they're saying that if this is on a neutral field, the Packers would actually be favored. Nah. Don't see that, bro. Everyone and their mother who does not have the green glasses on can see that the Packers roster on offense is just bereft of talent around Aaron Rodgers. They worsen the offensive line, swapping out Brian Bulaga for Purdue Ricky Wagner. The defense is still great, but you have Aaron Rodgers, the octogenarian, another year of regression, no weapons around him, feuding with the 12-year-old boy head coach already. I just don't see it. But the Vikings, win is win, especially at home. We'll see. Week 2 at the Colts. So you got the Colts favored by 3. So this is dead nose on like 2 very evenly matched teams, and I could see it. I really do respect what Frank Reich has done with the Colts. I think Philip Rivers has a lot of great weapons there in Indy. I think their defense is really underrated. I think Darius Leonard is up there. Not surpassing Eric Kendricks, but he's certainly up there as one of the best inside linebackers in the game. But yeah, if the Vikings can go down into Indy, especially if there's no crowds, I think that plays in the Vikings' favor. When you're on the road. Colts do have a really nice fan base, especially with those indoor stadiums with the roof closed. So, if the Vikings can go down to Indy and steal one, that'd be great. Week 3. So you got the Titans. You have the defending AFC title game participants in your building. The Vikings still favored by 2.6. But, again, neutral field. Titans a touch better. Maybe. We'll see what happens with the Vikings defense. That run defense from last year was not great. And then you got Derrick Henry coming in. Is going to put a $180 on the Vikings at US Bank Stadium, keep the Vikings offense on the field. Don't know. Week 4, you got Vikings going down to Houston. So now Houston neutral field will be favored, but the Vikings on the road, favored by 0.1. So final score projection of 22.6, 22.5. We'll take it. Vikings road favorites. Even though they still have Deshaun Watson, even though they still have J.J. Watt, even though he's a little bit past his prime, they still have Bill O'Brien. And no Nuke Hopkins. Great. Week 6, right before the bye. So you got the Falcons coming into US Bank Stadium. Now, the Vikings straight up would be favored on neutral field, but they do have the Vikings projected to win here 25 to 21.6. Now, this one is... Oh, sorry. I completely skipped over the Seahawks. Ha! So week 5. Seahawks. Seahawks are projected to win 24.8 to 22.8. But you'll notice this one's interesting. On a neutral field, as Seattle's only 2-point favorites, Vikings will be favored on a neutral field, which I think is astute. Even though Russ is still one of the few franchise quarterbacks around the league, I think he is elite. I mean, the rest of the team, I mean, Schneider has really been just like experimenting with his first round picks, a day one, day two pick. I don't know, like, why Rashad Penny, why LJ Collier, why this, why that. I don't really know. So I will say that I think on paper the Vikings do have a better all-around team than the Seahawks, but it still comes down to the quarterback. Still comes down to prime time as well. Still comes down to the Vikings playing on the road. Will the crowds be there? That's a big factor. Like we said, Falcons. Vikings favorite. I mean, Falcons are still a tough team, but it would be nice to get this one done at home. They got the bye week. Vikings are 10-point favorites, which is nice. Week 8. So this one, Packers slight favorites at home. And again, Vegas knows. Vegas knows what's up. And this is factored in with all the public jabroni money, all the Packers fans putting all of their ownership money as like, oh, on the Packers, let it ride, let's go. Vikings will be off the bye. But it's also interesting. So the Vikings, seen on a neutral field, week 1, there were slight. There would be slight dogs on neutral field. They're only favored by 2.8 points at home. But on the road, the Packers are only favored by 0.2. So, that's a weird dynamic because you would think that there would be some bit of consistency with the Vikings and the Packers, but such a big difference between home and the road. It's interesting, but yeah, it is nice that the Vikings are only slight underdogs, only slight disrespect. Week 9, you got the Lions visiting the Vikings. Vikings 3.3-point favorites. I would see the Lions as close a matchup on paper, but again, it is Matt Patricia. I don't think they can hang, clang and bang, get out of US Bank Stadium, sack Matthew Stafford 14 times yet again, and be on with life. Week 10. Monday Night Football. So this one's interesting. Vikings projected final score 21.6 to the Bears 19.1. Vikings favored by 2.5 points. So again, neutral field. Vikings will be favored by 5.5 points, almost a touchdown. But this might be the kiss of death. I don't like this one. Like Vegas seeing that the Vikings as big road favorites on Monday Night Football, where Kirk Cousins has never won, at Soldier Field, where the Vikings never win. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I think at this point, the Bears will just be absolutely disintegrating. Just like is it Foles? Is it Trubisky? Who gives a hoot? Who's starting? Yeah. Week 11. So the Vikings slightly favored at home, hosting the Cowboys 24.1 to 23.4, 0.7-point favorites. Yeah, okay. You almost give a full field goal to the Cowboys at neutral site. We'll see. Week 12. This is tied for the biggest spread, the biggest that the Vikings are favored this season. 6.8 over the Panthers, as well as 6.8 over the Jaguars, and a nice little home stand for the Vikings here. Now, Panthers, I think the Panthers are the ultimate wild card. You do like all the pieces that they have. You like Matt Rule and Joe Brady and Teddy and Christian McCaffrey, as well as all those damn pieces on defense. I mean, they got Derek Brown and Brian Burns and all that talent in that secondary. So, we'll see what happens with the Panthers. I could easily see this as a Vikings as a field goal favorite by the time this thing kicks off, by the time we actually get to week 12, if we get to week 12. Week 13, Jaguars again. Some nice pieces. They got a nice young receiving core, but Gardner Minshew, is he it? I don't know. Also, I mean, those pieces on defense, they are young, they are upcoming, but I think this is a pretty tankalicious season for the Jaguars. Week 14, this is noteworthy. So Vikings projected to lose 23.7 to 26.9 to the Bucks. Only 3.2 favorites on the road. Also, this game could easily be flexed to Sunday Night Football. Both teams are in contention. But, yeah, the fact that the Vikings are going down to Tampa, they got Brady, they got Gronk, they got all the pieces there. But the Vikings neutral field, only slight underdogs. We'll take that. Week 15, Bears at Vikings. Week 16, Christmas Day. So you got the Vikings projected to lose the Saints 28 to 21.9. Saints as 6.1 favorites at home. Don't they have cable? Like, doesn't the Action Network know what happened in the wild card round last year? Woo! Bring it on. Bring this one all the way on. Plus, this time, you don't even know. I mean, Jameis may be starting for the Saints. I mean, they may have to quarantine Drew Brees by this time of the season because of the Rona flaring back up. So, again, protect the elderly. Quarantine Drew Brees. Yeah. And then week 17, Vikings at Lions, finishing out the season. Lions are slight favorites at slight dogs at home. Again, I can't read. Yeah, so we'll take that. But that is it. That is really too early to tell. But I would say that the Vikings, I mean, Vegas is respecting the Vikings. I do enjoy that. So that's always good there. But your thoughts, early spreads, way too early spreads on all 16 Vikings regular season games. Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, pull us on the Venmo, plus give us a follow on social media as well. But till next time, Skull, production value.